Hi, hello, hi, and welcome to All Our Hearts and Minds. Thank you again for tuning in. We're here to discuss all things that have been on our hearts and minds, the good and the bad, the concerning and uplifting, or just straight talk. We're your hosts, keeping our passionate heart,
Yeah,
and there's me, Jeanette, our mind and chronic overthinker. Let's get into it.
yes. Let's do.
Okay, so our first thing is to check up on our well-being and everything in between. So I'll start I'll start this week. Usually I'll ask
All
you, but
right.
I'll start.
Yeah.
My week, my week was not the end of the world, but it was also but it was also like a week cuz we had
Mhm.
the time the weekend before the time shifted forward. They spring forward,
Mhm.
and then we lost an hour, and as somebody like me who doesn't get a lot of sleep already, it was a
Mhm.
rough week in terms of adjusting. But I guess we'll get better. And I am also feeling like I need a vacation from work. That's in the plan. The days are booked. I just need to book a little getaway, even if it's for a couple of days. I'm away for a week, but even if I go away for like 2 or 3 days, and it'll be good too, right? So
Mhm.
I have something to look forward to. So
That's
that's me.
right.
I'm doing okay. A little tired, a little exhausted, but trying to do some self care to rejuvenate.
Mhm. Yeah.
Yeah. What about
That's
you, friend?
that's right. So this past week was March break over here for the youngins, for the
Yep.
elementary students here, and I think the high school students as well. And so I took the week off with my little girl here, and we got to do some stuff, just me and her, and hang out and had a little fun. I did get some really troubling news. My cousin has passed away at the age of 20,
Mm-mm.
and it's devastated our family because it came so far from left. I wish you could understand how far left it came from, but the funeral is going to be coming up soon, in the following week, and yeah,
Yes. Yeah. It's
sad but
okay. It's okay to be
alive.
sad. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sad, but I'm happy to be alive, and a lot of what has happened hasn't really hit me fully yet. I know
Hmm.
it will, but I'm still trying to make sense of a lot of stuff. But either way, you know what? Yeah, God knows what he's doing. God has his own plan, and yeah, you know, I can't
Mm-mm.
begin to understand it.
Yeah.
He's more infinite than me. He's divine. I don't
Mm.
know why, but my cousin has died, and so really sad about that. But I'm hoping, to have a good send off,
Yeah.
and so he will go to heaven and see God, and he's not in pain anymore, and so I have to hold on to that. But hopefully we could just, for this show, I don't want to focus too much on it because I've been
Hmm.
focusing it. It's in the back of my mind. It's never gonna leave, but I want a
Yeah.
little bit of a distraction. So
No worries.
yeah,
Well,
but
condolences, friend, and we'll keep it moving as you deal with that in the background.
yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Okay, so not all checkups are going to be positive, right? So
No,
we're
no.
just we're
And this is the
dealing
real
with.
deal. What we have over here, family. We
Yeah,
have the real
exactly.
deal over
The
here.
real
So
deal.
you
So
know.
that's why we do it, because we know
Mm-hmm.
things aren't always up and cheering.
No.
All
Mm-hmm.
right. So two things. So first of all, again, thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Yes.
Just before we get into our headline, just want to do a quick reminder to continue to rate, subscribe, star, comment on any platform that you listen to the podcast: Spotify, Apple, Amazon, YouTube, wherever you happen to catch us. Please give us some engagement, and we love to see it. Thank you.
Love to see it. Yes.
Love to
Mm-hmm.
see it. And so March, we're in March. We didn't have an episode last week, but we know, it's March, which is International Women's Month. I call it. They have a day, but I call the whole month of March is
Yes.
dedicated to women and women rights and women issues. And
That's
so
right.
we're
That's right.
welcoming that for March. We left Black History, and now we're into International
Mm-hmm.
Women's Day. And I was
Mm-hmm.
looking up the theme the theme is not too far from I feel like last year, but this year's International Women's Day theme is inspire inclusion. I have some thoughts on that, but let me read what they have here on the official
Mm-hmm.
site.
Yep.
International Women's Day 2024 is inspire inclusion, where when we inspire others to understand and value women's inclusion, we forge a better world. Duh. Um and
Like,
when we, like hello, that's what we okay.
like.
And when women themselves are inspired to be included, there's a sense of belonging, relevance, and empowerment. Collectively, let's forge a more inclusive world for women. Okay, so that's your spiel. You can find out more on the actual International Women's Day site if you want.
Mm-hmm.
I think I just, for some reason, I'm getting deja vu with this. I feel like the 2023 had something inclusive as well, as it should.
I thought
Be-
like that was the whole reason why we had Women's Month.
right.
Was
Well, the thing
exactly
is, you
that.
remember,
Like,
like a while back, we had an episode on, it was around the same time, I think it was maybe last year, we talked about International Women's Day, and then what feminism means to us, and we kind of went into the history. Like, I know you were a minor in women's
mm-hmm, women's studies, yes.
studies, women's studies, and yeah, so I just looked at last year's theme was embrace equity. So it is kind of like DEI. It's all like they're pulling on the DEI thing, which here's why I'm thinking about this ironically. That's obviously a great
Mm-hmm.
theme. Love to see it. But why I'm kind of having a little bit of like a sarcastic kind of side eye is we talked about this, like when the women's movement of the 60s and the 70s was notoriously criticized by black thought leaders because it was very centric to white women, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it was not cognizant of the issues of Latin American, Native American, and obviously black women in that movement in the US.
Yep. Sure
And so
was.
in the
Mm-hmm.
80s they had a new movement called, there's womanism, which I know Alice Walker and some people were a part of that, and then there was another one, I can't remember what it is now, but it's pretty means intersectional
Mm-hmm.
feminism, where it's like you include race, sexual, gender, sexual orientation, all these like things, all these like, and class. All of
Mm-hmm.
those things are kind of are intersected with feminism, with other unique identities or whatever. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, in 2024, you guys still need to push that. And
Well, oh
then
goodness.
okay, one thing before sorry, and then the irony is, in this past history month there was a few articles, which I don't know if you noticed this as well, but a lot of, and we, I think we talked about this, a lot of
Mm-hmm.
corporations, all that DEI stuff they were talking about and pushing and trying to like be, be more equitable. Since after George Floyd, a lot of those programs and the people who were hired to
Thank
lead
you.
those programs lost their
Okay.
jobs in this past year. That's all I'm
Okay.
gonna say. But anyway,
Okay.
Kimmy, what did you want to say?
Right. Let's just do it for real here. Now, this International Women's Month,
Mm,
it's a great thing. I think it's
yeah.
awesome for us to all connect as women, but I feel like there is very similar themes running here,
Mm,
which I don't see how many themes you can come up with. But anyhow, whatever's clever. The fact that we have it is great. But we have talked about, the difference between races within, the woman's challenge
yes,
of
yes, yes.
conquering the world and being, equal and equality and all of that. And it's great. It sounds so fantastic, right?
Mm,
However, there's division even within it. So it's nice to see that, there's this theme that is steadily running for however many years. They can use whatever verbiage they want to use or pull out their trusty thesaurus. But at the end of the day, it's the same ongoing theme, and that is that we as women need to unite and be stronger as a unit. And so it's nice. It's this Women's Month is still kind of new to me, to be quite honest. Like, I had to kind of get reminded by my mom. You know,
Did she
she's
send you a
like,
message?
yeah, she's like, happy Women's Day. I was
Remember,
like,
it's more and
mommy.
more
I
popular.
was like, mommy, how you know about this? How you know about to keep up with these things? But she is a retiree, so she is hot foot. Like please believe me. And so I'm glad that we have it. It is a good thing, but I just don't want it to go left. And I feel like it could easily go left because there is such a strong divide within this sector of sex between actual black women, white women, Latin or Hispanic women, even Asian women. So
Hmm.
there is, I'm hoping for the best, but we need a new theme. I don't know how many themes you're gonna have that have to do with women, generally speaking, but we'll see. Hey, it's new to me. This is still new to me. I can't keep it straight with this stuff. But the retirees will have to keep me in the loop.
Yeah.
But
That's what
yeah,
it sounds like.
yeah, pretty much.
Okay. All right. So we'll move
Mhm.
into
Mhm.
our headlines, and I
Mhm.
was going to start with the TikTok ban that's going down in the US. It looks like it's going to
Mhm.
go down. Like, it's not official, but it's gotten that much closer. And there was a clip of Biden being asked about this. This is before the bill actually went through. He said, "Well, if it gets on his desk, he'll sign it. So if the Senate passes it, it will. He plans on signing it. And so, what does this mean? What are they saying? Where did this all come
Mhm.
from? So essentially, the House committee introduced and approved a bill targeting TikTok. And
Mm.
what is it? What are they asking, and why? What the only way that this bill can be avoided, or TikTok can be avoid being banned in the US, is that they are asking that, what is this looking for here? So it's okay. Here's the ask from the U.S. government: is a bill would give TikTok roughly 5 months to separate from its China-linked parent company ByteDance, or else app stores in the United States would be prohibited from hosting the app on their platforms. And we talked about this a while back, when this has been
Mhm.
brewing for a while. And the main
Sure
thing
has.
is,
Yeah.
and
Mhm.
we know why it came up, is that there were some policy. If you were to look at their, when you add an app to your phone, they always have the policy, user policy, and blah blah blah. Most people don't read it, but somebody took to the pains of reading the
That's
TikTok
right.
policy, and there is a lot of things. I was like, when I saw some of that stuff, I deleted that app off of my phone. I don't even
That's
use it, but I
right.
have it on my phone because a lot of people send me
Mhm.
TikTok videos, so I just have it so I can open the videos and people send it to me, which you don't need because it can open in your browser, so you technically don't need the app to see the videos.
That's
So
right.
why are lawmakers cracking down on TikTok? They allege TikTok poses a national security threat because the
You
Chinese
just
government.
now see this?
Well, I
Bloody
mean,
hell.
I mean, we saw. Well, that's why it was always like, I was like debating. I was like, listen, I'm like, they're still here. But anyway, wait.
Right?
So, because the Chinese government could use its intelligence laws against ByteDance, forcing it to hand over the data of US TikTok users. Policymakers worry that the information could then be used to identify targets or enable disinformation or propaganda campaigns. And yeah, that's the same. Like, that's what we were hearing because of the policy.
Mhm.
Like, there's some scary things in that policy, and like,
Mhm.
as an app, a lot of apps kind of have that. But the danger why they want TikTok to
Mhm.
disassociate from their Chinese
Mhm.
parent company, is that
Mhm.
Chinese government has a lot of power, so they could just be like, listen, hand over the data. And what is the company going to do, right, in a country like that, where it is like, the government controls everything. So they can't say no. Even if they want to say no, they can't say no. And
Yeah.
so, yeah,
Mhm.
that's what's happening.
Well, I
Personally,
have I have a few things to say, but go ahead. Mhm. On this ban. Mhm.
and finally, the people who want to stop this from happening, or TikTok's kind of rebuttal, I guess, is that this, which is saying that it's an attack on the First Amendment rights of its users. So I guess it's Americans users. So they've launched a campaign in the app using urging their users to call their representatives in Washington to oppose it.
Mhm.
Because right, even though the bill has passed, it needs to pass through the Senate before the president signs it. So it
Right.
went through the first thing, but there's another major. It needs to go through. If the Senate doesn't pass it, like go through it, pass it, then it's a dud. It's not going to go anywhere, right?
Yeah.
So some people are doubting that it will go past the Senate, but
Mhm.
we don't know. Who's to say that?
Mhm.
But what were you
Well,
going to say?
so first, I want all y'all listeners to go back because I've said this before. China has for decades tried to take over the damn world. You
Mm,
think it's a joke? I'm not playing around. And how do you do that? I said this before too. You infiltrate on the young.
mm,
That's what you do. The ones that are already here, they don't business about y'all. They know that at the end of the day, if they were to take over the world as a superpower, the United States and everybody else that's on this planet will have to just bow down to it. However, they want to infiltrate the young. So, how do you do that? You start messing with their brain. When we were starting to see these TikTok trends where these kids were going to school, mashing up the school property, oh, we forget all of that. Big TikTok trends. Right. If we think about TikTok in actual China, it's vastly different than what they have available to American users. Okay? They have educate I've said this in a podcast before. I'm telling you people, go back. We've discussed this that they will infiltrate the young to have them do the hard work. You be the dumbass. You go jumping off of this for TikTok likes and all such a stupidness. They're getting into the brains of our young with
mm,
TikTok. So, is it a security threat? Damn right it is. Is Facebook a security threat? Damn
mm-hmm.
right it is.
Yep.
So, is Twitter or X or whatever they want to call it this week? Sure, it is. They all are. Because as much as us everyday users are using these things, we don't understand that they are saving our information. There has anybody thought to themselves, nothing is erased when you go online, it's out there in cyberspace.
Mm-hmm.
Why? Why is that? Why is it just out there in cyberspace? Why is it kept? Why is it never destroyed? Why is that? Because the information is very valuable to the wrong people. China has been trying to be a world power for decades. Now they're going a different route. They understand they've had some hardship. They've had, typhoons, all sorts of things to come and just destroy them. And they've been rebuilding, but they've been rebuilding with the idea of one day being the largest superpower in this world. So, US, it's great that you want to pass these laws and all this stuff. It's great. Okay. But you're doing the same damn thing. Okay? Facebook, okay, is doing the same damn thing.
Mm,
Twitter, Instagram, they're doing the same damn thing. So for you to turn to China and tell them what they can and cannot do as business owners, pass whatever you want to damn pass. At the end of the day, how are you going to get these little kids off of TikTok? How are you going to remove what has been out there already? Remember, nothing ever gets deleted. So miss me with it, banned or no banned. I think the US, this might offend some people, but I'm not trying to offend nobody. I'm trying to keep it real. The US, you're arrogant as shit to think that you can go and tell another country, another business owner, how to run their business when
mm.
you are doing the exact same thing. All the people that are in China that are on Facebook, okay, what are you doing with their information?
Oh, they can't get
Trying to
Facebook
turn
over there.
around and say the same thing?
They can't get Facebook over there, but I get your point. I get your
No,
point.
okay, Twitter, whatever they have that we have over here, they have access to it. They do.
They
So
have out. Yeah, they
it
technically they
might be
shouldn't, but they
called
do.
something else, but it's the
Yeah.
same thing. So
Hmm.
how can you tell and then expect that you're allowed to do it, but they're not? Miss me with it. US, I think you have bigger fish to fry than the TikToks. Okay, if you want, maybe you can put some legislation, where an age frame, a time frame, as how old you can be on there. Maybe it should be an adult thing. Yes, you're going to take some people who, stupid ass parents who will sign their 12-year-old kid up for the TikTok regardless. Yes, I understand that. But there's a lot of warning that would go into them doing it. So,
Hmm.
and you could cut down a great deal on, people using TikTok that are younger. And I think the real reason why they think this is a security threat, because they see that TikTok has infiltrated the brains of these young kids, have them acting the damn fool, while the same damn program in China is educating their young people. Okay? Everything that is on their version of TikTok is educational. Wonder why? Okay. Anyways, I know everybody thinks I'm a conspiracy theorist, and that's fine. I'll take that title up real good. I will wear it across my chest. I don't give a shit. At the end of the day, this is not happening for nothing, people.
Yeah, that's the main point. You have to
It's
think.
not.
These are things.
So,
Think. Just make sure you think. And I think what I'll just say, because everybody was talking about it like at work and everything, and I was just like, me, I'm so glad. Listen, when I saw TikTok, I was like,
right?
I saw. To me, TikTok is literally so any social media feed on crack, and I didn't want to fall down. Like you avoided it completely. But
Yep.
I mean, I have to
That's
draw
the
the line,
point.
and I'm sorry, I drew the line at
Mhm.
TikTok. I was like, no, 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 no. The way this algorithm is set up, it will have you in your phone, even
24/7.
adults, even people 30
24/7.
plus, even old people,
24/7.
more than then you think of a 10-year-old.
And what
NASA,
are they watching?
right?
What are they ingesting? Because
No, I'm good. Like I don't ban
what you're feeding the mind of these young people, you don't understand. It is an actual weapon that the Chinese are using here.
yeah, because you know
Because
what?
remember those viral videos that we saw of TikTok here? These young kids, they'll go into the school, mash up the school, or
Yeah,
they want to do a trick or something. They'll jump off of here, they'll jump off of there, they'll take drugs, all sorts of stuff, stupid shit. Okay, just to get somebody to look at their video and whatever whatnot. So yeah, the Chinese are looking at it like, oh, okay, that's what we're gonna run through the algorithm. All the nonsense.
but here's the kicker. Before we go on, in China, the equivalent of TikTok does not show any of that nonsense. It's all educational,
All of it.
all of it. None of the toxic stuff that we see on our social media.
And why
So
is that? You have to
mm,
ask yourself that question. Have
that
some
means they know.
discernment, some people here.
Mm.
Why is that? Why is it they make sure that their young is educated way beyond their years? Okay? Why is that? You have to ask yourself these questions, people, because there's a reason for it all. And so, good luck, US, with that ban and actually enforcing it, because you can have whatever damn law you want to have. At the end of the day, enforce it.
Yeah, that's it. So we'll see if that happens. So we'll move on to some of our dance hall news.
Yes.
So this week I saw Jamaican social media was hype. They were hyped because
Mhm.
they were making it seem like a Vibes Cartel was free. I was like, how can he is he free or what? Like or thing something overturned for Vibes Cartel, or what it
Mhm.
is that the appeals court in London ruled overturned Vibe Cartel's murder conviction after a claim of juror misconduct. And this was by the highest court of appeal. And so on Thursday, the Judicial Committee of the Privy Council in London overturned the conviction because of allegations of jury misconduct in the 2014 trial. A juror described as Juror X was allowed to remain seated after a claim that the person had attempted to bribe other members of the juries. Jurors ultimately convicted Mr. Palmer, which is Vibes Cartel, Sean Campbell, Kahir, and some other people.
Mhm.
And so that person stayed on the jury. So long story short, it's been overturned in London, and that was a major thing. But it still needs now the Jamaican side kind of needs to figure out what they're doing. So he's not free yet, but this was one of the biggest obstructions in him being free. and I don't think it'll be too long, to be honest, that he will get out, because this was really the major roadblock of him getting out of jail in Jamaica.
But here's the thing, right? Is that we
Hmm.
know that Jamaica is a at one point was a British colony, right?
Yes.
And they have high influence from Britain.
Hmm.
But since that queen died, Jamaicans have had a new leaf. A lot of Jamaican people are not they're not messing around
No, we
with
are not.
England. They
No.
don't give a shit about what England thinks. So it will be interesting to see if Jamaica will get pressed enough to do something. Now, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Vibes, you have a better chance than you did before. But I don't know because I've noticed a switch. Like a lot of sorry, especially with the Queen dying, a lot of
Hmm.
British stuff in Jamaica. They don't really care. They don't give a shit. A lot of people were happy that the Queen died. Okay,
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
they've been a very repressed country from England. So now you're telling me how I should run my police? You're telling me how I should run my jail? Okay, we're gonna see how that's gonna pan out because yes, unfortunately, Jamaica does need a lot of help from England. We do,
Hmm.
unfortunately, or not we, because I'm
Hmm.
here in Canada. But
Hmm.
as a population in Jamaica, they need help from England. They surely do because the monarchy set it up that way. Unfortunately, but it'll be interesting to see what happens to vibes. It's I don't know. I'm bittersweet. I don't know. Did you actually murder them vibes? I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah. So,
So
but it's
but
like
you
this
have
is
done
just
10 years. You've done 10
yeah.
years so far. So
Hmm.
I don't
So a
know.
big. This was one of the bigger roadblocks in him not being able to get out. And like you said, there's a lot of, you didn't say it, but I'll say it. There's I'm gonna just say it. These countries like Jamaica and these developing countries where the officials, the bureaucrats, and the government
Hmm.
officials are money hungry. I don't know. I don't know.
That's the thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I feel like wave sniff some money under their nose. We'll see. We don't know. You know what I'm
Well,
saying?
that's the thing. That's where he's at. For me, this has given him a chance at 50-50.
Yes, exactly.
That's what
You
this
said
has
it.
done.
Yeah.
But it is a
All right.
50-50 because
So
Jamaicans, they're stubborn when they're ready, you hear? So
yeah. Oh yeah.
they're stubborn, even if anyhow.
Because
Yeah.
yeah, like there were some people who are like, yeah, that's done, but will they turn, like, it still needs to go through the Jamaican appeal court, and so that's not guaranteed. That's not a guaranteed
No. And
thing.
the only way it would be where he could get out is if the Jamaican government is pressed by England. Period. They'd have
Yeah,
to be pressed. Like pressed. Like you
or
need
the
to
right
let him
person
out.
is, or the right person is bought off, which is
Well, that
entirely
too.
possible.
That too,
Mhm.
right? That too. So
Okay, so we'll see, but Vibesy is one more step closer to freedom. And you know
yes.
what? I don't know what he did and what he didn't do, but
I don't know.
culturally, people miss him, and we'll see. I don't know.
I
I'm not
don't know
gonna
why
hold
anybody miss him. He's in at a jail making big
making me.
album,
He's
okay?
making music.
Like my man, I featured everybody thing. Okay, like how from the big jail. But okay. Again, some people can be bought off. But anyhow, yes. All right, vibes. We'll see. We'll see. I'm gonna keep my head to the ground about that one and see what's popping.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're gonna an oldie but a goodie resurfaced this
Yes.
week, and I just wanted to talk about it because it's just funny.
Yes. It sure is. This girl. I can't.
So
It's her.
Lil Mama, she used to be a rapper. My lip gloss is this. My lip gloss is that.
Mm-hmm.
She did a podcast recently, and they went back to, obviously this is one of the biggest things of her career, unfortunately, outside of her music, is the time when she infamously crashed Jay-Z and Alicia Keys' performance of Empire State of Mind. And we all remember they were performing the biggest song of the summer. It was MTV 2009. Songs going good, and Lil Mama took it upon herself
Damn fool.
to
Mm-hmm.
go on stage and pretend like it was a Source Awards and be hopping around all over the place like a damn crackhead. I like she's not a crackhead, but the behavior was crackheadish.
It
And
was giving crackhead. It was
yeah,
giving.
yeah, I don't know what was going on, but it was just giving the behavior was definitely crackheadish. And after the performance was done, you just saw the look on Jay Z's face. He was pissed, and he even went on he even went on a radio show and they asked him and he was like, "Yeah, that wasn't cool. That was like, what the heck? Like, why would you do this?" So anyway, during the interview, it was a Jay Hill podcast. They revisited the moment, and he asked her, like kind of, did you feel abandoned and stuff like that. So there's a couple of things she said that was. So for this one was funny. She's like, "Yeah, in the beginning I was hurt. Tyrese called my phone as I got home. He was like, 'Bro, you didn't tell me you were performing.' That's
Oh my god.
And first of all, my heart was racing. I was already mad, embarrassed. And she even made a cracked a joke on Tyrese after that time, while she was explaining that story. And she was like, 'Yeah, but then you're on the phone about congratulations.'" She did the invitation
Oh
and everything. I was
god.
like, "Yeah, girl, get your get back, girl."
Ugh.
And she was like, "I had to deal with Ed Lover on the radio in the morning, Wendy Williams, Angie Martinez, who talked to Jay." And he was like, "Yeah, I didn't like it. He was so angry, and I was just trying to do my best. I was
Do
trying
your
my
best
best."
at what?
Wait, listen, wait. I was trying to do my best
This
to do
dumbass.
everything I could do. So what I get from that is like everything she could do to like apologize or whatever. After a while, I was like, "Forgive yourself, bro. Move forward." And I agree with that. That's good advice. Forgive yourself because it looked like that was too fresh. Like nobody was gonna forgive you like a year within that. Like you needed to sit down for a while, girl. And she said that even though he wasn't happy, he has since forgiven her, saying that she had a conversation with him in 2021, and it was on a Twitter space. So obviously he can't. It would be crazy if he was still holding a grudge. I don't think he's holding a grudge now, but
He doesn't
probably
care.
those first
Shoot.
few months, those first couple of months after, yeah, you need to give it some room, girl. And she said, yeah, so she kind of went in and she said, a lot of people stopped messing with her. She was depressed, and of course you are because
But
like
you did it
we're
to yourself, you dumbass. I'm
She
sorry.
did it to
Okay.
herself. Yeah, no, and I don't know how old she was when that happened.
Dumbass. Dumbass age. That's what that's
Dumbass. Yeah, she definitely. Let's assume she was still under 25, because
not
girl.
Jeanette trying to give her the undeveloped brain
Yeah.
excuse. Jeanette
That's
is
what
trying to give this girl, this broad, a damn excuse. Nah, you
okay,
took
no.
your ass on the stage like a damn fool. I told Jeanette a whole different perspective on this. Back in the day, in
Mhm.
Source Awards, sometimes on the BET Awards, you would have performers who were rappers and they would bring up all their people onto the
Yeah,
stage and all sorts of rigmarole. But those people were a part of the act. It wasn't just random people leaving their chair to go jump on stage. No, they were a part of the act. I think Little Mama, she tried a thing. I think that day where she jumped up on the stage and interrupted that performance, she thought she was going to start something. I
yeah.
think she was going to start other people running on the stage as well, other New
New York rap.
Yorkers running up on the stage, as some sort of anthem because it's a very popular song even back
Yeah.
then to this day.
Mhm.
You play that and everybody who's from New York, what? They're going to rep their city
Mhm.
100%. And I think she thought that she was starting something and she found herself on that damn stage by her damn self. And you were a damn fool. Why would you think that would be okay? You did it to the wrong one. If it was just Alicia Keys up on that stage, maybe. But the look that I remember that is ingrained in my brain, okay? Jay-Z gave her the side eye. What are you doing on this damn stage? Then he walked away from her quick, fast, and in a
He even tried
hurry.
to do the push. He did the side hand push,
Okay,
the little
all
tap.
right.
He gave
He
her the
did the
little
side
tap.
hand tap and kept walking to the right hand of the stage. Let me tell you, he was not having her up on that stage. I think Alicia Keys had enough going on. She's trying to sing and
Yeah,
play the piano and all this. But Beyonce even tried to stop her ass from going up on
that's the
that damn
crazy
stage.
part.
So miss me with the depressed. Miss me with it. Because guess what? You did it to the wrong one. This is a very valuable lesson. Whether it ended your career, to be quite honest, if they're still talking about this, this is more popular than your career. Let's
Yeah.
just call it a buck. You don't really have a career. That song is from the early 2000s, Bretchy.
Mm-hmm.
Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And I haven't heard no music from you since. I haven't heard no music before this nonsense of going up on the stage. I didn't hear nothing after, barely anything. Okay? You tried to ride the wave and it didn't work. Okay?
It was literally career suicide.
It was, and you're the one that did it, even though people were trying to stop you. So miss me with it, but depressed. I'm sorry, fam. You did that to yourself. And if anything, it's gonna keep you relevant.
Mm.
You're still talking about that shit now.
I mean,
Really?
the thing is, if you're talking to little mama, you have to talk about that. Like that's like
But
literally a
that's the
career.
thing. That is your career, bro. Nobody remembers your damn song. Okay? People remember this crazy ass heifer up on the stage with Jay-Z and the look that Jay-Z gave you. That's what they remember. That's why in this interview, that is the highlight of the damn interview. Okay? I can't. Little mama, I
I
can't.
can't. I can't.
I
Okay, yeah,
can't.
it's like one of those things. I actually do feel sorry for her,
I
but it's
don't.
like,
I'm sorry. I don't have no grace for stupidity. I'm sorry. No, I'm not God, so my grace is limited. But
Mm.
I'm saying in this situation, that this was uncalled for. She did this to herself. Beyonce tried to hold your ass back. And when you got pushed by Jay-Z off the stage, you should have took your ass off the stage. But instead, you went along like you were part of the act. Sorry.
Mm-mm.
Sorry.
Yeah. Well, all I know is it's a iconic moment that happened in the culture. I'll
Isn't
never
that
forget.
so sad? That's the moment that you just that's tied to Little Mama.
Mm. I know it sucks, but I'm to this day like if like I just remember rewatching that clip back and forth with a friend of mine and literally dying. Like my gut
Dying.
dying of laughter. Like
Dying.
every step of the way was like, no, no,
No.
no, no. What are you doing? From when she was getting gearing up, from
Crazy.
when she got up from her seat and was gearing up to go on stage, and Beyonce tried to grab her. Grant and Beyonce even had a grip on her, and she
See?
shook her off.
She shook her off.
She
So
shook her
miss me with the depressed
off.
brethren. Miss me with it.
Somebody tried
Okay?
to save your team. Didn't try to save you, but Beyonce tried to save you, and you said nah.
Yeah, Beyonce knows her man. She's like, girl, please.
Don't do it.
Not today. Not to him. Cause see, and you know what? Jay-Z has power in the business.
Oh yeah.
Straight. He does. And I
Hmm.
know you made up with them and all that. But you left a lasting memory not of your music, but
No,
of your
absolutely not.
antics.
Ooh, ooh.
Sorry. I
I
don't hear
knew she.
the highlight of your interview wasn't about your music career. Okay. That says it all.
This is it all. Okay, so
So-
we'll move on from Lil Mama and her nonsense. I hope things. I think should get. She's been dabbling in acting,
Yeah,
so I
but you need to let this shit die, girl. You need to never talk about this again. Any interview you do, you need to do like Kelly Rowland.
just shut it.
No.
No, shut it down. Just shut it.
I'm not
Yeah,
about that life.
there's enough
Okay.
cover. There's enough interviews about this. You're right. She should start shutting it
Yeah.
down.
Yeah. Years ago, if you want an actual career, you should shut this down. Don't have any more conversation about that. Anybody wants
Okay.
to bring it up, say, nah, I want to talk about my music career. We're on,
Or my
that's how
movies,
many
my
years
movie
ago?
career. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll go on to another clown of a worse degree. So Kevin Hunter,
It has.
Wendy Williams' ex-husband, has had the gall after all this scrutiny on Wendy and Wendy's guardianship. He thought it was a good time to petition the court for over 2 years of back pay of alimony from their divorce. So he has
Oh
asked the
boy.
judge to make Williams pay back 23 months that he is quote unquote owed. He says in the documents obtained by the press, I rely on severance pay for my living expenses, and having been without this income for 23 months has affected me greatly through and through through Wendy's guardianship. He's seeking Williams to immediately pay all severance payments which have been may be due and owing at the time of this court's order. The gall, the absolute living gall. And of course, I think everybody's having a lot of sympathy for Wendy, despite, like, we see, we know her past and everything. But this a lot of people have come out having some sympathy for Wendy for her situation. And so there's some, needless to say, the internet went on and roasted Kevin for even attempting to do this at this point. Like, sir, so I'm just going to read a couple of them. Sir, respectfully, go get yourself a job. And when do you need to go back to court and fight this? Well, she can't do that. But yeah, he doesn't deserve nothing. He's a bum. Nothing about this resembles a man. Thumbs down, another person said. And last one, violated her heavily and still wanting parts of her livelihood is nasty work. I agree, that's dirty work. Come on.
Idiot boy. Okay.
It's
First
like,
of all, this
mm,
damn idiot, okay? Do you not see the state of the woman?
mm,
Don't tell me that you don't know the state of your ex wife, who is still the mother of your child.
mm,
Okay? Like, miss me with it. You are kicking a woman down, kicking her when she's already down.
mm-hmm,
Okay? She's down and out. Wells Fargo has her money. Okay? She can't even get her damn money. Okay? Right now, there's rumor and speculation. Well, not speculation. There's a rumor going around that she has a lien against her New York condo,
mm-hmm,
and it's because Wells Fargo did not pay the damn taxes on the damn condo.
mm-hmm,
So if they're willing to allow a lien to go against her property,
mm-hmm,
okay, what the hell thinks you and your trifling ass baby mother are going to get any money out of this woman? And I hope that you don't see a damn dime. And I hope that there's been somebody at Wells Fargo who actually means good for Wendy, because she's not in her right mind. I don't agree with banks having control of your over your estate or your money. I don't agree with that. However, there's too much damn vultures around the woman to begin with. So
mm,
there has to be some saving grace for this woman and her legacy, and how to know that this woman has been working her whole life and she has nothing to show for it but a damn deadbeat ass ex-husband and his stupid ass baby mother. Okay? He's saying that it's affecting his finances, but what? We're seeing pictures of you and Sharina Depp on vacation.
hmm,
Okay? Big Caribbean. What? No, fam, this is ridiculous. I really think that somebody needs to step in. I don't want this guy to get a judgment against Wendy. This is just so below the belt. Like, what did this woman do to you, Kevin, for you to like come at her like this? Like, for real, you were dead with her for 20 years, Brethren. You have picnic with her, you had a house with her, you had a family with her. What did she do you that's so bad? Where while she's down, you're still trying to kick the heifer. Like, for real? For real? Go get a damn job. How about you and your damn trifling ass baby mother go get a damn job? Stop trying to live off of this woman. It's disgusting. It's despicable. I can't stand your ass, Kevin or Calvin or whatever the hell you want to call yourself this week. You and your damn stupid ass baby mother need to go get a damn job and
hmm,
leave her alone.
hmm.
Leave her alone. Don't pursue this. I can't.
Yeah, or
Just
if you're
get on
gonna
my
do it,
damn
try and do
nerves.
it in a sneaky way. Like the public is like, it's like it looks like it really looks nasty, like you said.
It is. It's disgusting. Because don't tell me you don't know what's happening to her. Don't tell me you don't see what's happening to her. So you
Yeah.
want to be one of the the leeches? Oh, I just can't. I can't. Like it's
All
one
right.
thing that this is happening, but it's a whole nother that he's actually pursuing something against her. Like that's a
Yeah.
whole other problem. But whatever. Stupid ass guy. I can't stand him. I can't stand
All
him.
right.
Mhm.
Yeah, so that's our headlines. I was going to talk about Schoolboy Q's new album, but I want a little bit more time with it. I gave it one listen. I'm enjoying it at a surface level, but I want a little bit more time with it before going deep, because this is like Schoolboy Q is he's like one level after Kendrick and the TDE camp, and I want to give a justified review. So next week or next time we record,
Mhm.
I'll talk about that. So, excuse me, we'll go into our first segment, which is
Yes.
Lot of Mercy.
God have mercy.
This
Mhm.
week we're going to talk about Miss Drea Michelle,
Ugh.
who recently announced on the first day of International Women's Day that she is pregnant and having a daughter. And her people know, she didn't call it out, but everybody knows that the person she's in a relationship right now is a 21-year-old basketball player by the name of what's his name? I was trying to find it. Something, I think it's something Green, but I want to get the name right. But yeah, so and essentially she's a 39-year-old woman who's pregnant, and the man that she's seeing, and most likely the father of her child, is 21 years old, a 21-year-old NBA player.
He's 22, I think.
22. Okay. She probably started dating him when he was
That's
21.
right. Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, and the internet is roasting this girl. And well, that's why we brought it up in this segment, because in a lot of Mercy we talk about stories that have make people think Jesus needs to take the wheel. They
Sure
make you
does.
read it, and you see it, and you have to say a lot of mercy. And this definitely fits the bill. Yeah, his name's Jalen Green,
Jalen
and
Green. Mhm.
yeah, and she announced it. And since she's announced it, a lot of people have been on her ass. And I think, to be honest, I see both sides. And the one side is, okay, it's from one side, yes, it's shocking. And she also has a son that's almost pretty much the same age as her father of her
Yeah, it's the
child.
same age. 20,
And
21,
yeah,
I think he
I think
is.
her
Yeah.
son is 21,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And so a lot of people are saying, like, aren't you, like, this is embarrassing, aren't you ashamed or whatever, because this man is like almost the same age as your son. And you just got not you he's like, you trapped him, you did this, you did that, you manipulated him to get a bag, to, like, obviously secure a bag with an NBA player, right?
Yeah.
And then there's
Retirement
the
plan. Mhm.
retirement plan. And then there's the
Mhm.
other side, where people are like, well, what, she's locking down she's securing her future, as you said. The retirement plan. Men do it all the time.
Sure do.
Men date women 20 years their junior. And yeah, people, there might be grumbles, but you're not really upon the mat. Like, the way they're going after this girl, it's like, it is shocking. Don't get me wrong, it is shocking. But you know what? Men, especially rich men,
Mhm.
do this all the bloody time.
And
So
that's why
why
I
don't
have to ask, why is it shocking? Because she's a woman?
mm,
Because that's the only thing that seems to be different from her and all the other men out there who are dating 19-year-olds and 20-year-olds and knocking them up. Like I just I have a few First of all, Lord Jesus, come and take this wheel, yeah, because this little boy here, him not Jalen, you don't understand what kind of beast you're up against. You understand? This
mm,
girl is a lot older than you.
mm,
Okay, a lot older than you. And I say that not to focus on age, But I say that because of experience. And we know that with age comes experience. She is a lot older than you, and she has been through this game. Sorry, Drea, you's a pass around. We all know you are. The industry knows you are. And so they were two consenting adults coming to this union with different ideas of what was going to happen. Drea was securing a retirement plan, and he wanted to have this bombshell on his hand, on his arm, to seem like he's bigger and better than everybody else. You should see his showboating on the court. You should see it. It
Mm,
plays a little bit into what he could be like what his characteristic is like, or his personality. And
mhm.
so, you wanted the hot girl on your arm. Well, you got Drea, and Drea made sure, because she is 7 months pregnant and she's only
Mhm.
been with you for 8 months, so she came in ovulating.
Yeah, that's the
Okay,
thing. Yeah, she came in ready. Like the
my
fact
girl
that
came into it ovulating.
here's who I want people to
Okay,
blame.
so
Here's who I
shoot.
want people to blame: the parents, Jalen Green's parents, and him.
But why? He's 22 years old. He's over the age of majority.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
I'm
sorry.
saying
The way
if they
I see
want to
this
blame
is,
somebody.
it's distasteful.
Mm-hmm.
It's tacky. But
Mm-hmm.
he's grown
Yes, yes,
and
yes,
he
yes.
is of age, and she saw an opportunity.
And she damn
She
where she
took it
dead took it. She took it.
just like he did. His
Mm,
opportunity wasn't necessarily long term, but
mm,
hers was. But you both came into it for some reason. So miss me with it. He's a 22-year-old man, and to be quite honest, he's a basketball player. And what I know about the basketball industry is this: you go into it, you keep your eyes shut to all these damn heifers around you. You understand what I'm telling you? You do have to do that. And I'm speaking from a woman's perspective. There are women like Drea who are only trying to secure the bag. They
mm.
don't love you. They don't like you. They might be able to tolerate you, but they're not here for you. They're here for the bag. This woman made sure she secured her retirement. Why am I going to criticize her for that?
There you
Why
go.
am I, as a woman in the big woman's month, okay, going to criticize her for that? Drea knows that her beauty only lasts so long.
Okay.
Drea knows that she better keep that body tight and right in order for any man of that caliber to look her
Mm-hmm.
way.
Mm-hmm.
She's not oblivious to the game. She's a little older, so she's had more experience in the game. Jalen, you just came off you literally just came off your mom's titty. You understand? So you don't know enough. But you went into it for whatever your reasons are. And if you guys are in love, great.
Mm.
Fabulous. This child will actually be raised in a house that there's two loving parents. But if my suspicions are what they are, this is why Lord Jesus said to me, oh, because Jalen, you're not new. How come you're coming to find out, How come you're
It's
coming?
like Jalen, you let yourself you took the bait, eh?
You got tech where
Yeah,
you
you
got
got caught. You're the big fish. You're the big fish, and you got took.
you got tech where mentioned. Hi. That's why I have to sit back, and because this isn't gonna go away. This is not
Mm,
gonna go away. Andrea's not stupid. This is your child, and you're young enough where you have lots of NBA years left in you.
mhm,
So this bag that she's securing is gonna be real fat, and if she plays her cards right, okay. I'm not supporting and endorsing her manipulation. That's why I think it's kind of tacky that she went with a child that's the age of her son. You know how to manipulate this age group. Your
mm.
son is this age group. So I think that's cheap and tacky. However, you went into it with one reason and she went in it
Yeah.
with a different reason. Unfortunately, hers is going to be a long term. You only 22, my friend. You don't understand. 18 years, bitch. 18 years. Okay? She's got you on lock for 18 years. Tell you that much. So Yeah, Lord Jesus at the wheel, because brethren, you don't know what you got yourself into. And Drea seems like she's can be very manipulative. She
I
seems
mean,
like
just
she
by
can
the
get
same,
what she wants,
like you
you know?
said, like yeah, like that type of woman, like you said, who goes after a certain caliber of men. They don't listen. You don't mess around with that type of woman. They are very strategic, very they know what they're doing. Let's put it that way. And you know what? Needless to say, we're debating. At the end of the day, a child is always a blessing. And
And
you know,
I really hope well for Drea.
mhm,
You know, all money aside and all jokes aside, she is
yeah,
having a child, and I
hmm
think everybody needs to leave her the hell alone.
yeah. See, because she even did post something about how she felt like
The
I
weight of everybody is
the
on
weight
her.
of
The
everybody's
people,
on
yeah,
her and
yeah, yeah.
everything.
Whatever, Drea.
Yeah,
Okay.
I felt like you're being a little bit dramatic considering that you announced your pregnancy, but what did you expect was going to happen? Because literally a month ago, a month or two ago, I don't remember how long ago, but people spotted her at the game and she looked pregnant because she was wearing a jumper, like overalls
Mm-hmm.
with a she was wearing overalls with with a crop top. So it's like you could see it was like weird. You could definitely see there was something going on. But so the speculation started 2 months ago because she was she did not, because if she covered herself up maybe people wouldn't pick it up, but the way she was dressed, it was kind of clear that she was probably most likely pregnant, right? So from then she should have known that it was, because people started talking about that difference in age from that time. So for her it's good, you're proud, you're happy to be pregnant, but you know you kind of had to mentally prepare. She knows she's been in the public eye before for a while. People were going to pile on.
This is her
So
first, her fourth child. Her fourth child.
is this her only girl? I think it's her
Yeah,
only
her
girl, is
only
it?
girl, but her fourth
Yeah.
child.
Yes, yes,
And
yes,
I
yes.
just wanted to go down memory lane for a second. How Drea came into existence is she was on Basketball Wives.
Mm-hmm.
You know, need right, right,
Mm-hmm.
okay.
Oh,
So
now can't become a wife.
right?
She
Oh
got the
no.
basketball part.
Right? So, I wish the very best for Drea and
Hmm.
her baby that's coming, that the baby is healthy, and if you guys are in love, great. Hope you stay in love, and I hope you guys are able to raise this child, in a loving home. But Drea, miss me with the nonsense. You put this out because you wanted to put this out. You wanted this attention. And the young man, Jalen, you're coming. You're going to find out, and you're going to have 18 years to figure it out, my friend. But in the meantime, while you are figuring it out, we are move on. Yes, Drea. Too much. I don't even. I couldn't even talk to a guy that young. I'm sorry. I would be like,
Yeah.
"Do you still have breast milk on your breath?" Like I just can't. You know. Anyhow, so we'll move on into the workout.
Workout.
Yes, and so this is where we exercise our hearts and our mental fitness. We're gonna
Mm-hmm.
do a deep dive discussion this week, and in honor of International Women's Month or Women's Month or whatever you want to call it, we're gonna talk
Mm-hmm.
about issues that are affecting women specifically. I
Yeah.
mean, y'all know me and Jeanette, we's women. So I
Yeah.
think this
Yeah.
is a very important time for us to take some time out and talk about issues that are affecting us women and that long term will affect us women. And so, one of those topics, and I haven't had an opportunity of really diving deep into this topic, so my opinion is going to be kind of on the general aspect, but
Mm-hmm.
the Alabama I IVF ruling and abortion rights. So,
Yeah.
right.
And
It is.
I could break it
Please
down.
do.
Like,
Please do.
so I mean, we talked about this, of course, when the US, some of the US states, southern states, pretty much banned abortion. But the way, and it kind of goes into how they're able to ban abortion in those states, and that they're claiming that the embryo is a life, and so because it's a life, it's against the law for an abortion clinic to do what they're supposed to do, and so that's
Mhm.
kind of why a lot of them is shut down, or people have to go to out of state to do those type of things, right? So
Mhm.
anyway, which we all predicted is that this could spiral. The minute you decide to say an embryo is more than an embryo, that could change so many laws, right?
Mhm.
So when we were talking about this last year, we were hearing people talk about, well, if I'm a pregnant woman driving in the carpool lane, yeah, this is more than two people. This is more than one person or
That's
whatever, right?
right. Mm.
There's like all type of nonsense now when you say that. Like there's a lot of laws where that's this stupidity that they're using to ban abortion in some way can spiral out of control. And this is the first sign where it's hitting the people that it needs to hit. So I'm not even sad this is happening, because it's hitting the people who have money, who can afford IVF. IVF is a very expensive procedure. It's not the
Very.
average
Yeah.
not the average person, middle class person, is able to afford to do IVF, in vitro fertilization, to get pregnant or whatever, right?
Especially if you have to do it more than once.
Yes, and most of the time you do
Most
have
of
to
the
do more than.
time, they have to do it more than once. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
And so the Alabama Supreme Court ruled that couples who were trying in vitro fertilization and lost embryos in an accident at a South Alabama storage facility can sue under the state's wrongful death law. What does that mean? So there was a place where these families had they took the embryos and did the business and science, and now they're frozen embryos for when the woman is ready to start her pregnancy. And that facility, there was some issue, and they lost there was an accident, something happened, and some of their families lost those embryos. And so those families wanted to sue. And in doing so, at first the lower court did not allow them to sue, but they took it up to the higher court in the state, Alabama Supreme Court, and that ruling said that they could sue the fertility clinic and hospital for wrongful death of a child. I'm saying that quote unquote because for the embryos. And so, what did the judge say to justify this? You know, under the act that they initially started with this anti-abortion law, this is kind of how they're saying embryos have personhood, right? They're
What
not
kind
saying there's a
of?
life, but they're saying it is a
Ugh.
person. I know, right? It's like, are you serious? Like
Yeah, the rabbit hole is getting deep.
it
Like, it's getting deep, man.
exactly, right? And so that's the same as if what if a family excuse me, so what if a couple, they have their embryos, right? And then the woman, they're successful, and maybe they have one or two out of maybe they had 10 embryos they went through, they had in their bank, and they said, okay, we had two successful pregnancies, we don't plan on doing it again. And
Right.
are they breaking the law if they say, like, we don't want these embryos, get rid of them? Because they have to pay for the storage. So I'm assuming if you don't plan on using them, you're going to want them to get rid of them, because you don't want to pay for the storage of an embryo that you have no intention of using. So
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? So just as the parents have the right to sue because of this, the state can turn around and sue you as parents,
Well,
right?
and with criminal charges as well.
And so, and the
Hmm.
one other thing I want to call out is because of this ruling where the Supreme Court is saying that these people can sue for the loss of their embryos in this accident. A lot of fertilization clinics in the state have stopped doing these procedures, and because now they need to figure out the legal implications. They don't want to get in any legal mess. Now that the law, they can get sued by and accidents happening, and a family losing their embryo. I'm sure nobody wants a family who's paid and gone through the process to lose their embryo, but should I get sued if shit goes down? Or at least not, if I'm sued, it could be in a procedural thing, but not for the loss of life.
Right. And this is why I strongly believe that when the government starts entering the womb of women or the family unit, it's a downhill
Oh,
spiral.
it's a
And
downhill.
it's a deep, dark rabbit hole that you're getting into, because it can then, these parents who are now having to be charged for storage fees can turn around and ask for subsidy from the government,
Yeah.
or for the government to pay it entirely. Okay, you want to keep the embryo, then fine. I'm going to hand off all parental rights, and it's now the government's problem.
Hmm.
So you see, it's a slippery slope. It's a very slippery slope, and if you're not careful, right, the government will have to turn take up a lot of costs, a lot of, when you're saying that an embryo is now considered a person and you want to continue to freeze that egg, well, I now as a parent can, like I would if my child were alive, I can hand them over to Children's Aid Society and say,
Hmm.
well, here's my
Right.
embryos. They're frozen. We are, giving over, signing over all of our parental rights to this embryo. It's your problem. And
See,
so
it's a
now the state will have to uh, fork out the cash to have those embryos saved in those frozen storage units. Okay? No, but here's the problem with that: the government will find a way to increase taxes for things like this in that particular state. So if it becomes that big of a problem, where more and more people who are using IVF give away their parental rights to the government's going to have to pay for it somehow.
but here's okay, yeah. It's just yeah,
And it
right?
will
That
in turn come back to the taxpayer.
this is
So
ridiculous. Well,
it's a
here's what
deep, dark hole. This is what I'm saying. When you have the government in your womb and you have it in your family unit, it's a slippery slope. It
here's
is.
here's a
Mm-hmm.
ridiculous again, this is all from the minute that this nonsense started, we knew we were going to see ridiculous, like just complete madness. So a
From
movement, there
Roe
is a
versus Wade, from
hmm,
when they overturned that.
that was yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So one movement calls for people who don't plan to use embryos for further pregnancies to do what they call compassionate transfer and implant them into women's uteruses at a time when the pregnancy is unlikely to occur. Why? Are
But do
you
you
kidding me?
understand what the female, like, this is the thing in the
This
woman's
again,
mind.
it's just it's just complete
Listen, this is
disrespect to the
my
woman's
flipping
body,
womb. This is my
right?
damn womb.
No,
Okay, this
no,
is
no,
my
no.
body.
Yeah,
This is my
yeah.
womb. This is my uterus. Do you understand what happens to a female body when they miscarry? No. I don't think anybody gets it. For some, depending on how far along the child grows and then dies, has to have it surgically removed,
Mm,
okay? Or they would have to carry the child to term, and maybe the child has a lot of disabilities, Down syndrome, a lot of health issues, and will die shortly after birth. In the body, if the child dies in the miscarry, it has to come out, fam. It has to come out.
mm.
It can't stay in there. It's almost considered it's
Yeah,
toxic
it
waste.
will kill
It's
the woman.
toxic
Yeah.
waste,
Hmm.
right? So it has to come out of the woman's body. So you're willing to put our bodies at risk for this law? How about we go back to before Roe versus Wade, when you didn't have no say so on what I do with my body? That's the part that rubs me the wrong way.
Yeah.
Is
So
that the
now
government has such a heavy hand in what women are doing with their bodies. Like,
and so
that's the part
obvious
that rubs me the wrong way,
and
you
as
know?
it should, and obviously everybody's going to get scared now. Even the people who are so-called anti-abortion and were trying to take away women's rights with their nonsense. Even now they're scared because what if? And you're like, wait, now I can't do my IVF.
That's right.
So now there is a Republican who said her name is Nancy Mace, and she said we've got to talk about making sure we don't take away women's rights to IVS, women who are childbearing age and want to give birth to children. I'll be working very hard to make sure that doesn't happen, like take away their IVF rights. Right, but what about the women who want the opposite? Like it can't that's where Yuki said the snowball effect, the trickle down effect. And that's why this is actually a good thing in terms of people getting sense again, because if we're going through this ridiculous rabbit hole in Alabama, And
Right.
everybody's going to be like, okay, let's pull back now, and like let's like try and have some rationale. And so that kind of brought me to, okay, because the states is unique in that each state can dictate a lot of their major laws, right, like at the
Mhm.
Supreme Court level. And it was just designed that way because in a way, like as a Canadian, I'm just like, what the heck, like this, like they could just like take away versus Wade out of the state and like say it's not like, because Roe versus Wade I think was a federal thing, but
Mhm.
the states still can dictate their laws. They didn't have to adopt it, as we're seeing,
That's
right?
right. Mhm.
And it makes me look at a country like France. Again, I understand why the US does that, because it protects the country against a dictatorship when the president having, or the federal government having too much power into state politics. Like, I get that control, but I do think there are certain things that should be, in terms of rights and human life, that should be dictated by the federal government. That's just my opinion, my point of view. And so it brings me to seeing recently in France, earlier this month, became the first country to enshrine abortion rights into its constitution.
Wow.
Okay, and this was a direct response as people, everybody around the
Mhm.
world saw that happen. Even us over here, we saw that happen. We're
Mhm.
like, what? I never would have thought there would be a day that was an advancement in
Women's rights.
women's rights and women's as rights. So I didn't think we would reverse back 4 years. And
50.
so,
Yeah.
yeah,
Mhm.
50. And so France in took action, and the people, and France has always been a very more liberal country
Mhm.
when it comes to human rights. It was a place of the first revolution, so it makes sense. They're very progressive, and so their lawmakers of both houses voted a 780 to 72 in favor of the measure, easily clearing 3/5 of the getting the majority to pass that in the Constitution. And the amendment states that there is a guaranteed freedom to abortion in France. Some people are calling for stronger language to call it a right, but they said guaranteed freedom. Freedom is what is actually in the Constitution, which I feel like they can't change that. That can't be misinterpreted. Still, I feel like it's still good wording. Yeah, and
Definitely.
that was a history making moment, and
Yeah.
I hope other countries, including our
Adopt it.
country,
Yeah. Mhm.
Canada, I hope we adopt it, because that is very scary. What, the reversal of Roe versus Wade
Mhm.
in some of those states is a very scary occurrence.
Mhm. And I had to ask myself why.
Hmm.
Why would they go back on that? And here goes my conspiracy theory going again.
Hmm.
But I strongly believe that, in the pandemic, a lot of white lives were lost.
Hmm.
And they're trying to force the population of white people to be increased. And they're willing to go by any measures to do so. And I don't like to make this a race thing, but I do
Hmm.
have to make this a why thing.
Hmm.
Why would they reverse that Roe versus Wade? Why? Why is it now, after 50 odd years, do you want to have a say on a woman's womb?
Hmm.
Why? And the population in the States took a drastic hit with the pandemic. A lot
Hmm.
of that was white lives. And to be quite honest, with constant integrating of races and intermixing and having children with multi races and stuff like that,
Hmm.
the white race is soon to be extinct. And I believe a lot of big heads out there, a lot of powerful people, are scared shitless to be a
Yeah.
minority. And so what do? Okay, well, we force these women to have children. The funny thing is that most of abortions in the States are of Black and Latino women. So
Hmm.
I have to ask myself, there is a greater purpose as to why they are fixated on
Yeah,
the
it's a real thing because
woman's
they act.
reproductive system.
There is a racist theory called Great Replacement theory. And in that theory, it's a call to action to white women that they should be having more babies to build up the white nation. So it's not really, it literally is a theory from white supremacists that is real. They actually believe that. Obviously, nobody's saying that's what, nobody can say that out loud. But I'll be honest, that's what I believe this push from conservatives
Why? Why would it
for,
make a difference 50 years later? Tell
yeah,
me why.
yeah,
And as soon as you open up a Pandora's box, okay, the
they're
hole
only
goes
screwing it,
real deep. Now
then
we're
they're really
talking about
only screwing
IVF. Like,
IVF, and that's when all the other, when the rich folks, no matter your race, but we know which the main race is
yes,
now.
because
Now they're like
economically,
irks. They're like irks. Pump the brakes. IVF. We what if we want to, you
right?
know, get pregnant and we're having a hard time and we need IVS. Now we're coming after our IVS. Yes, you are. You want to come after women's bodies? It's going all the way.
Exactly.
Everybody.
And let's just keep it a buck. IVF is not for an it is for economical, you have to be economically sound
Yes.
in
Yes.
order to
Yes.
have IVF. It is very expensive. I knew
Mm-hmm.
someone that went through the IVF process. She
Mm-hmm.
was the supervisor at my daughter's daycare.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so sad because she desperately wanted to have children. She worked around children all day long. She loved them so dearly.
Mm-hmm.
And just for her to freeze one egg and to go one round costed
Mm-hmm.
her 25K.
Wow.
Okay? Her and her man, they had a little house. They had to go remortgage the house. So, and that she was lucky because she got pregnant off that one egg.
Mm-hmm.
But if she had to go back again, it would have been another 25K. So that's not, a small fee. Okay? And here in Canada, it's actually cheaper because we have a healthcare system.
Mm-hmm.
So even though she's going through IVF, she'll get breaks on how much she's spending because of our medical system that's already in place here. So a lot of things that she could get for free, she would get for free. However, the process is very expensive, and that's not always readily available to people who are black and who are Latino and Asian. It's just, well, maybe not so much Asian. Let me take that back. Let me backtrack and pussy pop on that one because Asian people, a lot of them are wealthy or have means to wealth. But with white people, a lot of people have it. A lot of them have it. A lot of them are in different tax brackets that can afford it. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they're up in arms. Yes, they're up in arms with that. Wait, hold on. So wait, you want us to have kids, but we're having a hard time. So now what? And are you also going to force those families to have more children if they're not prepared to have more children? Because if they were to kill off their embryos that are frozen, they're now criminally charged.
Mm.
So you're forcing them to have more children. So that is a deeper rabbit hole. I'll go down it quickly. So now you're forcing a parents to have more children that they can't afford in this economy. All right. So they might get abused. They might get dropped off at fire stations. Okay. They might go into the social system, which is already flawed. So there's repercussions to forcing people to have the children or to have not to be able to get rid of the embryos that are frozen,
Yes. Mm-hmm.
right? So Lord Jesus, I just
Whew.
need for these people to come off my damn womb, Bridget. Come off my
Mm.
shit, okay? It is not yours, it is ours. And at the end of the day, we're the ones that control it. Period. So you can have all the laws that you want to have. The reason why there was Roe versus Wade is because people were having backyard abortions and dying. So, really and truly, I think the government needs to come out of my pom pom. Yeah, you
Mm.
need to come out my womb. You need to come out my uterus, brethren. You need to come out of the embryo, frozen embryos. Yeah, you need to just, you have bigger fish to fry. Okay, While China is infiltrating your young people, you're worried about IVF and embryos, brethren. Okay? I think the US has lost their damn mind in terms of the grand scheme of things. As a country, yes, they're powerful. I'm not going to say that they're not. But everybody else is looking at you and they're seeing what's on the top of your agenda. If it's not trans right, the LBTGQ, sorry, I don't remember all the acronyms. If it's not that community, then it's now about abortion. If it's not that, then you're worried about TikTok. Don't you have other things to do to protect your country? I'm sorry. We're getting off track here. TikTok should not be the top concern in the US right now. I'm sorry. It just shouldn't be. It just shouldn't. But you know what? With all that said, that's all I have to say about this. This is Women's Month, and these are things that are affecting us. And we have a right as women to voice that opinion.
Yeah.
And I think they need to just come out, of the woman space.
Yes.
Just come out. Come out. And with all that said, if you're ready to go,
Yes.
we do hope that your hearts and minds were activated on this week's show. So, whether you lead with your heart or your mind, please stay passionate and thoughtful. We will talk to you guys real soon. Bye.
Bye.